Old and in the way, sisters. Laugh and learn with me, Janet.
And me, Nancy.
The
The
Bitchin'
Bitchin'
Sisters,
Sisters.
as we tell it like it is. The way it was back then and the mess we're in now.
We're growing old in a new world with skyrocketing costs, crazy fashions, changing norms, and I hate to remind you, with limited time left,
Yeah.
we've got some practical ideas that might work for you.
And we definitely have some opinions that you might have too.
We'll entertain you and inform you. Let's look back at how it was and ahead to what's coming.
And if you're young, maybe you can learn something from your elders. Supposedly we're wise, but we've definitely been there and done that. You've come a thong way, baby.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, like other girls in my ancient generation, I wore waist-high, thigh-low, white underpants with elastic waist and legs, and a white all-cotton brassiere with absolutely no padding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a training bra. That was silly.
I do.
I just remember a ridiculously small bra. And I recall the fact that I recently had had a bike accident and sustained a broken collarbone and had to bare my budding breasts to my doctor and neighbor. But he didn't even seem to notice. I was relieved to this day, 70 years later. Well, you remember, you grew up with that old-fashioned underwear. And I had seen my grandmother's corset, a corset. She wore a corset, and it was all laced up.
I remember that.
But I was a modern girl. I wore a girdle. Were you too young when you got older?
I wore a girdle.
You had to wear a girdle. This was in case you don't know, a waist-to-thigh band, big band of elastic with dangling hooks for nylon stockings.
I still have one.
You have a girdle? She's wagging her eyebrows. Ann Landers, I think, said that a girl without a girdle looked like a couple of cats fighting it out in a burlap bag.
Wow.
Or maybe it was a bag of potatoes. And maybe it was Dear Abby, but it was something like that. The desired look was flat buttocks that did not move.
Oh, yeah.
And that's changed now.
Well, now they have that thing that you wear.
What
it's
thing?
Like spandex kind of, and you put it on. Like I have a couple of those, and it smooths out everything.
You think it does. But if you didn't wear a girdle, you could wear a garter belt.
Oh, yeah.
Got one of those left? It was made of satiny fabric, and it was briefer than a girdle, but with the same dangling hooks, remember?
I have one.
It was a standard piece of apparel,
Yeah.
especially for like teenage girls or something.
Yeah, I don't wear
it.
too
Was
many
not
nylons.
just the invention of porn sites.
Oh, darn.
By the way, the garter belt went under the big underpants. And, of course, we had thigh-high nylon stockings with a seam up the back. You had to worry about whether your seam was straight. And that was it for a long time. And then, over the years, as you may have noticed, women's underwear changed. First, there were hipsters. That means underpants that are a little lower on the hips. Low-cut, high-cut, boy shorts, bikini, and the like.
Oh, yeah.
Fabrics changed to exotic animal prints, cartoon characters.
Days of the week.
Yeah, days of the week. Mod patterns, transparent panties, anything else you can imagine. But thongs. I was visiting one of my New York daughters.
Uh-oh.
I'll preserve the identity of which daughter. In her high-rise apartment, I was helping to fold laundry and held up a pair of skimpy underpants. "Why, this doesn't cover anything," I exclaimed. "Turn them around," she said. "They're thongs." I am so naive. Yeah. I don't know any.
Have you ever worn them?
No.
Oh,
no.
I have some, and they're not very comfortable.
Yeah. Stockings also changed from the thigh-high seamed stockings to pantyhose.
Yeah.
Even the word sounds silly.
I know. I have a drawer that's full of all that stuff, and it's the drawer that I never open.
You can probably make a bundle of money on eBay with those. Well, pantyhose is all in one. You still wore underwear, but this covered the panties and often had tummy tucking panels or something similar. If you got a run in one leg of the pantyhose, which means it was one leg was ruined, the usual fix was wait until you had another pair with a run, and then you cut the ruined leg off each pantyhose. Remember this?
Yeah.
And you wore both pairs with the one good leg for each.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, modern day fix.
Well, yeah, plus we got to have nylons. I mean, back in World War II, that was a luxury.
Yeah, I guess.
I heard.
I was not alive. Anyway, meanwhile, I mean, I'm not that old. The swimsuits, girls and women, wore modest one-piece suits that had a piece of fabric that crossed the crotch to conceal the junction of the legs. Yeah.
That was the reason for it. I never knew.
Well, they were modest. Years later, I was a student at the University of Wisconsin-Madison living in a women-only dorm.
Oh, yeah.
They only had same-sex dorms. I'd been taking dance classes, and I had a black leotard. When the sun finally came out in May in Madison, I cut my leotard in half and made a two-piece swimming suit from it. Aren't I the clever one?
What year was that?
63, 2?
Something like that.
Yeah, 3. 63. Yeah, and I was sunning myself on the lawn outside the dorm when I was accosted, dragged into the dorm by the house mother and her henchwomen, and told, "You'll never live in university housing again." What a relief, I thought. But
Wow. Huh.
You didn't know that?
No. And I wore the first two-piece in Toma. Because when we went to New York one time to see our relatives with the tranquilizers all the way there.
Yeah, right. I don't remember the trip, but I got there.
Yeah, I don't know if we had those that year, but I bought a two-piece, and it was like the pants part went all the way up to the waist, and then it was like a very full bra.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't skimpy, but you could see my midriff.
Yeah, the leotard thing wasn't skimpy either, but I guess...
I was so proud. First two-piece.
Woo. Well, 50 years later, who would believe that now women of every shape, size, and age would proudly be wearing thong swimsuits on public beaches and on the streets of tourist towns.
Yeah.
I don't wear a thong, of course. Way too old. I just couldn't do it. I did go topless at a beach in Martinique when
really?
Yeah, I was 50 and I thought, this could be my last chance.
What was that like?
No one seemed to notice. But then the boys. When I was young and wearing those big, modest swimming suits, young men's swimming suits were very brief. Apparently that was okay.
Oh, sure.
One of my daughters, the Thong daughter, and you know which one you are. Her name begins with an E. Called them banana boats.
Banana boats.
Men's banana boats.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, men's suits look like saggy, baggy, oversized shorts with Hawaiian prints. What gives? Now, when women are wearing the thongs.
Oh, yeah. Reversal.
Yeah, and men's, it's probably just how you bet on the future fashion by just doing the opposite of whatever's out there. Men's underwear, my father wore white cotton shorts. My mother...
He wore boxers, those big fat boxers.
Yeah, shorts. Boxers.
Okay, yeah.
Boxer shorts, I should have said. My mother bought my brother's standard knit whitey-tighties. My boyfriends wore whitey-tighties.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't ask. Then maybe 10 or 15 years ago, the whitey-tighties began to look silly. Puffy. Silly. Just like Mom had chosen them, My current husband began to wear dark-colored, tight-fitting knitted shorts that went mid-thigh. But a couple of years ago, we were stranded in Mexico for 5 days without luggage, and he was forced to buy Mexican underwear.
What's that?
It has the same dark jewel tones, but much briefer.
Oh.
Yeah, and he has somewhat short but powerful legs, and the Mexican underwear look good on him. Anyway, I like them. That's all that matters to me.
Janet and I come to you twice a month with new episodes. Some are funny, some are serious, some are just our crazy opinions. I hope you enjoyed our show.
Me too. It's been a pleasure. We are Nancy and Janet,
the Bitchin' Sisters.
Music by Hall and Sidnor.
Where are the rebels who will not be moved? Where